A community project led by dairy farmer Karen Schumacher is creating an environment where kiwi are protected and allowed to flourish. It's a success story for the population of the North Island western brown kiwi in the area and has had other positive impacts through spin-off projects carried out by local schools.
We're dairy farmers, but we're Kiwis. For us, that's what it's all about. You know, we're Kiwis and we're making a difference, and we know that in this space here, we can make a difference. And what we say is that we're actually providing a place for Kiwis to thrive. Bob and I have always had that, I guess you could say, conservation-minded or ethos around us. We bought this property in 2001. So 2004, we started with 192 hectares with predator protection. The following year that grew to 3,000 as our locals came on board and started to own and take responsibility for the kiwi problems or demise and the risk that was happening. 2009 we grew to 13,000 hectares. Our project is the Purangi Kiwi Project, and our goal is to have, it's quite aspirational, we're actually aiming to have 1,000 pair of kiwi by 2020. We're doing that by doing the predator control and letting the kiwi do it themselves basically. Kiwi are pretty hard to count. You can't run them through a set of yards. So we do population modelling. We say that kiwi are our indicator species. Behind that is the wider species. All our natives that are under threat and in decline actually thrive also because we're doing that predator control. We're looking at, in particular, stoats. We are doing rats in our core block, and we're doing possums in our overall in the block. We're also doing feral goats. We do have a plan, a cunning plan, which will be a corridor that's going to be connecting us to the north, towards the coast and down south, which will connect us eventually to other projects. At the moment, we're in our Purangi block. This is where our field centre is. It's part of our network of tracks that we're opening up walkways to the public, just part of our community involvement and engagement for our wider project. We do have a wider, longer walkway, but this one here is our new one that we're building. Today we have a working bee that's happening here, and some of our local communities who have been engaged with us doing this over the last probably 3 months are here helping to finish our walkway, putting in floats, putting in stairways, just to make it a safer and more enjoyable experience for the public. Back in 2012, we actually sat down and looked at what other things might we want to have a look at, and bats was on that list. It was a case of when we had resources to do that. The Curious Minds project allowed us that opportunity.
So here's our triple chamber bat box, and up there, that's where we've got our double chambers, and we've got our control and our adapted bat box. We put the bark on that. Why did we put the bark on that one?
More to make it seem more like the tree itself, so they'd think it was more like their home, since they like to roost under the bark.
Yeah.
Curious Minds is an initiative that was the National Party initiative, and it's around growing the science and inquiring minds into the schools. There's always a component with it of outdoor actual activity by students itself.
So tonight, what are we listening for? Awesome, so that's what we're listening for. And we've heard that before, so we'll know if there's lots of bats passing over us.
Our local school that's here at Kaimata School, the students from the people and the landowners go to Kaimata School. So for us it was a fantastic fit. It's widened our whole project to our students, to the community, and it's just been fantastic the way they've embraced it. This is a long-tailed bat that was found by our local landowner that was just over the hill from us, and it had actually been caught on a fence and air-dried, showing how small it is. Normally with the bats, their feet that you can see here with the hooks would be closed right up, and they do actually live in our modified forest with our pine trees. So this is an example of a bit of a tree, just to give you an idea of the size, how tiny these are. You can see it on my hand, but what they do is they go into the cracks that are here on the tree. So you can imagine these feet would close right up, and it just would slide right into, kind of into there, which we can't quite see because he's dried up, but they're just tiny, and that's how these bats can live in our modified forest as well.
Before we started, I didn't even know there were bats in New Zealand. We just were learning about the bats and came out here to see like their habitat and stuff, to see like around where they live. The boxes are meant to be a like safer environment for them, and they don't usually like them until they get used to them. They make like this clicky sort of sound that you can make with your hands like that. We're making what we're calling a batchumentary, so it's a documentary about bats. It's been cool to be able to come out here to see everything that the bats do and everything. It makes it just cooler.
Our project's always had three focuses. The first was our kiwi, the second was around our community, the third one is our kokako. So we've been working towards kokako now for probably, was in our plan from 2006. At this stage it looks like the kokako are coming into our project in the autumn of 2017. We're all pretty excited. Like all community projects, funding is the toughie, and that's our biggest challenge, is to be sustainable. We do get a lot of support from government, from the lotteries, from our local philanthropic trusts that are here in Taranaki, and from the community. In that way, we've actually set up a new website and people can go on there and find out. As we say to people, for the price of a cup of coffee a week, you can provide a place for a pair of kiwi to thrive. There's no money in doing kiwi work, but it's very satisfying, and at the end of the day it's about the heart. It's kiwi, it's what we are, it's who we are, it's just, we're making a difference.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.